saved me going for a hearing check. I knew where the sirens were.
And that they were working. All right, we'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for City of Belton for August 1st, 2023. Could we have the roll call, please?
Chairman McPherson.
Here.
Mayor Larkey.
Here.
Councilmember Pryan.
Here.
Commissioner McDonough.
Here.
Commissioner Monahan Bass. Commissioner Vest. Commissioner Walton.
Here.
And Commissioner Warren.
All right, thank you. First item we have on our agenda this evening would be the consideration of approval of minutes for the July 18, 2020 Planning Commission meeting that have been printed and distributed to you.
Motion to approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from July 18th, 2023.
Second.
All right, thank you for the seconds.
He was first.
Any additions, corrections that need to be noted? Seeing none, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we do have a couple of public hearings. We'll call the first to order, and this is for RZ 2023-02, application for a rezoning from A agricultural to R1 single family for a proposed 1.23 plus or minus acre lot at 1208 South Cedar Street. And this has been continued originally from our July 5th meeting to the July 18 meeting. And there is a request for an additional continuance until the August 15 meeting. And so if I can have a motion that we continue that.
Motion to continue.
Thank you. And thank you for the second. All those in favor of continuing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we will continue that public hearing until August 15. We will call to order a second public hearing. This is for PDP 2023-03, application for an amended preliminary development plan for Autumn Woods, a multifamily development generally located at the northwest corner of West Markey Road and Belton Avenue. We'll ask the planner to present for us.
Of course. If I can get this to work. Okay, there we go. Cool. So this application was first brought forward and approved by the Planning Commission on March 7th, 2023, and was subsequently denied at the City Council meeting on April 11th, 2023, due to some parking concerns based on the site development. So this is being brought back forward in front of you guys with some revisions based on City Council concerns. And so I'm just going to give a quick refresher on the project, and then I'm going to point out some changes that the developer made on the project.
Good.
So an application was filed to revise the existing preliminary development plan and submit a final development plan for Autumn Woods, multifamily development at the northwest corner of Belton Avenue and West Markey Road. The subject property is a proposed 11-acre block bound by West Markey Road, the railroad, and Markey Meadow multifamily development, and it's currently undergoing construction of the first phase, which is on the east side of the property. There are 33 triplex buildings and 1 duplex, totaling 101 units in total. Phase 1 on the east side of the property contains 18 buildings, or 53 units, and Phase 2 on the west proposes 16 buildings and 48 units, where Phase 1 is currently undergoing construction. Based on the comments provided by City Council during the April 11th meeting, the lack of parking needed to be addressed to move forward. The revised site plan includes single-space attached garages for each unit with an 18-foot wide driveway, which is an increased driveway width. So it'll allow for 2 parking spaces in front of each single car garage. So we're essentially doubling the amount of parking in front of each triplex unit. So that would be included for phase 2. So all of that west side development would include those double width driveways. And that would increase the total parking spaces on the site from 202 parking spaces to 250 parking spaces. So the driveway widths would be doubled, and then that would also include this single car garage space. So we would essentially have 3 parking spaces per unit. This also includes 11 visitor spaces that have been provided on the paved parking lots in the middle of the development as well. So we have some surface parking, and on-street parking will be available as well on one side of the street. There have been no changes to the street or access points, and these sidewalks and trails are the same as proposed previously, where there's a trail running through the middle of the development, and we're adding 5-foot sidewalks along the access road and along Markey as well. This is a elevation of the proposed design, triplex, mostly stucco on the outside, siding on the rest. Some changes on the landscape plan since previously reviewed. Because of the double wide driveways in front of the phase 2 properties, there is limited space for street trees, which is a requirement. So based on street frontage, they would have been required 102 street trees, and currently on their site plan they're showing 60. So based on the driveway and those not allowing more street trees, we've worked with the developer to add plantings in between the spaces, in between the driveways. So there's going to be decorative grasses, native plantings in between each of the driveway spaces, really making those spaces a little bit nicer. So that is a modification that they are asking for, as well as they previously asked for counting existing trees in the west side of the property that are currently there. Nothing else has changed on the site plan. They're still proposing a playground in the middle of the development, as well as a shelter, and the development maintenance agreement is the same as well. Just to reiterate some of those points, the development maintenance agreement is proposed to be amended from the previously approved development maintenance agreement, which would allow for each dwelling unit to have an individual water meter rather than a single water meter serving the entire development. The completion of all infrastructure and landscaping in the first phase prior to building permit issuance in the second phase as well. And completion of all infrastructure amenities, which include playground, trail, and common landscaping and on-street visitor parking prior to building permit issuance in the second phase, and establishment of the Property Owners Association with a future final plat that townhouses each building or unit, which was presented the first time as well. So with that, staff recommends approval with these 6 conditions listed in the staff report. And the applicant is here as well.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you. So ask the applicant if you would like to say anything or anything that staff, I think she did a pretty good job, but anything additional you'd like to
No,
make us
absolutely.
aware of?
No, Sam Molinowski, SM Engineering, 5507 High Meadow Circle, Manhattan, Kansas. I don't really have anything to add. Like she said, when City Council expressed their concern over parking, we went back to drawing board, and I think we came up with a pretty good plan here. It's going to add quite a bit more parking, and I think it'll be a nice development once we get completed.
Okay.
But I'd happy to answer any questions.
Okay. So since this is the public hearing portion right now, I'll ask if there's anyone here that would like to speak either in favor or in opposition? Anyone at all wants to speak to this? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and we will open it to the commission. Any questions that you might have for the developer or for staff?
Is it too late to extend the driveways in phase one?
Probably.
Yeah.
So,
Just trying to think of questions the council will ask.
trying to think, as we looked at the drawing of what the front would look like, is there room? As I look at it, it's like we've got garage on either end, which I can see how we could have a double drive, but what about that one that's in the middle? Is there room to have a double drive there? Or how is that going to?
Yeah, I mean, we can get them all in there. Like Jenna said, we're going to have like about a 2 or 3 foot gap in there that we're going to provide some, like native plantings, some grasses, kind of, pretty up a little bit.
But it does eat up a lot of the front yards, so it would be mostly driveway.
I mean, it's not going to be a solid sea of concrete. It's going to be broken up.
There will be a little strip anyway.
Absolutely.
In between them. Okay. Commissioner.
Question for staff, on the plantings, the trees, whatever, is that all gonna be complete on the existing units before we proceed?
Yes. So there have been a bunch of comments provided to the developer on the landscaping that needs to be completed on the phase one. They're currently still in the process of building townhomes and things there. But there are buffer requirements along Markey Road and putting in all of the street trees that might be missing in phase one. There is a list of things that they are required to do before building permits will be issued on phase two. So that is a requirement. Yes.
Replace all the dead stuff, or?
Yes. Yep. All of it has to be alive and in place like the landscape plan shows.
Any other
I got
questions?
more of a question than anything. On the prints here that you see from overhead, shows the garages, one garage to the outside, one garage to the inside on the outside, and on that print, it shows both garages on the outside.
So these are triplexes, right? So we've got 3 garages?
Yes.
On the drawing of the house, or the part unit, it shows 2 garages on the outside, but where they show the driveways from overhead, it shows the garage on the inside, on one side. That's probably just an architect design. What page you on? What page you talking about?
Yeah, what page?
They're all the same.
So, like if we could go to page 30 of the packet, I think, is what.
22,
Oh, I
you've
see
got
what you're
best-
saying.
best
I see what
view.
you're saying.
This is showing
So-
them bam, bam, bam. This is showing them together, and then
This almost looks like the center one has been switched, where the door and garage
how
are.
much the center one is the end one.
One end one's right, one end one's
Wrong. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, one end one's in, and it should be out.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with
and
you.
there may be, because I'm looking at the phase one as well, there may be a couple of different building plans there where they alternate the
Probably
facade.
just an architect's law.
So, and we would be okay with that and actually encourage that, just so it's not the exact same building up and down the street.
But the house, the way the unit shows there on the picture is the way it's gonna look, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, these were the building plans that were supplied to us.
Cause I was trying to figure out where the gaps were, and that's how I come across it. Wait a minute here.
If you look at 23, they vary when you get around the corner.
Yeah, that's phase one, round.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they don't.
Any further questions or comments? Or are we ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the amended preliminary development plan for Autumn Woods, RDP 2023-03 as presented.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
Second.
A motion and second. Any final comments? Seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner McDonough?
Aye.
Councilmember Pryan?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Walton?
Yes.
Chairman?
Aye. So the motion does carry. Thank you. We will move on now to a non-public hearing for FDP 2023-05, which is an application for amended final development plan for Autumn Woods, multifamily development generally located at the northwest corner of West Markey Road and Belton Avenue. Anything additional to add?
I'd make a motion we approve the amended final development plan for Autumn Woods, FDP 2023-05 as presented.
All right, thank you for the motion. And the second? Basically, we have just been talking about this, so there's not really anything additional to talk about. So, could we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Larkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Walton?
Yes.
Chairman McPherson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonough?
Aye.
And Councilmember Pryan?
Aye.
All right, thank you. So that passes. We will move on to item FP 2023-03, application for final plat for Cross and Mack, a two-lot subdivision at the southwest corner of 3rd and Herschel Streets. And
Thank you. An application was filed by Tim Cross to replat 2 lots totaling 0.368 acres to be oriented off of Herschel Street rather than 3rd Street to allow for 2 duplexes to be developed. The size of the lots are proposed to be approximately the same size as the original lots, but were sized accordingly to the width needed for 2 duplexes to be placed on them. Lot 1 is proposed to be 0.203 acres and Lot 2 0.15 acres. The property is currently zoned R2 single family and 2 family. R2 single family and 2 family, and the proposed use would be consistent with that of duplexes. The applicant is requesting an alternative development standard to reduce the corner side setback along 3rd Street from 25 feet to 15 feet to better accommodate the desired duplex design. Staff believes that the reduction in the setback is appropriate to the Old Town Belton area, where many houses have reduced setbacks. Other than that, the lots meet all minimum design standards. And in terms of easements and right-of-way, due to the location of the sanitary sewer and water main, conditions for approval have been made to require the sewer to be extended 10 feet past the properties and the water main extended to the remainder of the block. And those conditions are listed in the staff report as well. Based on those, staff recommends approval with the 6 conditions for those utility extensions.
all right, thank you. And
With that, any questions? And the applicant is here as well.
all right. Would you like to share anything else additional to the commission?
Yeah, I think Jenna put it good, so if you have anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay.
I think I see it in the plan, so the 25-foot setback would revert to Herschel instead of
Yes.
3rd Street.
Yeah. 3rd Street would have the 15-foot setback.
I think I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Any additional questions, commission?
What? I heard.
You think that's all right, losing 10 foot of setback there?
Yeah, I was looking on my phone. The one house next door to the west looks like
Yeah,
it's on the road.
we looked up
You
on
go-
both sides of the street on
you
Third
go-
Street,
yeah, you
and,
go the
and
other
most
way.
of those houses are set back about 15 feet from the back of the sidewalk. So it's in keeping with the surrounding block.
And then it's 25 foot on Herschel. It looks like somebody did duplexes south of there years ago. And so it would be in line with that too. So I think it's fine.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Yeah, it's pretty common that in these older areas, the development has different setbacks than what the current zoning might say. And so sometimes the zoning gets out ahead of the old town style development, and obviously it's beneficial for us to have housing there rather than not have housing. So matching the existing area sometimes is a welcome thing for staff.
Oh, appreciate that input. Any additional comments?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the final plat for Cross and Mac FP 2023-03 as presented.
Thank you. Have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Final questions? Seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Chairman,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonough,
Aye.
Commissioner Walton,
Aye.
Councilmember Pryan.
All right.
All right, thank you. Next item we have on our agenda is the annual election for chair and secretary or vice chair for the Planning Commission. And at this point, we will start with the election for chair. Are there nominations?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we continue with the same slate of officers next year as we are this year.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Second. Any other input? All right. And this can be roll call or?
Yeah.
Or it needs to be roll call?
Yes.
All right. Could we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryan,
Aye.
Chairman,
Abstain on the chair, aye for the vice chair.
Commissioner Walton,
It's the opposite of the last one.
Commissioner McDonough,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So, moving on, next item, our director's report.
Yeah, just want to give the commission an update on the comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan steering committee met for the first time last night for our kickoff meeting. So we had an hour and a half conversation with Confluence, our consulting team. I thought the meeting went very well with the steering committee members. A lot of good feedback from that first meeting. And then we will have our follow-up meeting on August 28th. And then there will be a joint Planning Commission City Council workshop on Thursday, August 31st, which I did send a calendar invite out last week to everybody on that. So hope as many of you can make that as possible. And then we'll keep moving along on that. We do anticipate having a number of community events and public participation opportunities coming up in September and October. So once the consulting team has more information on that, we'll get that posted on the city's website. And there will be a social media campaign, and there will also be, I believe, a completely separate website for the comprehensive plan that should be out hopefully in the next few weeks.
Very good.
And then also on the agenda, we thought it would be helpful to, on future agendas, to just have hyperlinks to some of the important items that we think the community might want to know. So we have hyperlinked at the bottom of the agenda a list of upcoming public hearings, and then a link to our current development projects map, which we are trying to update at least monthly. We're going to probably go in there sometime later this week and do some updates on that. We do have a meeting on August 15th, which will include the rezoning that was continued from tonight, and then there's a couple of plats that go along with that. And then, just so everybody's aware, we do have a few public hearings scheduled for Tuesday, September 5th, so the day after Labor Day. So definitely let us know as soon as possible if there is any scheduling conflict with that, so we can plan accordingly.
All right, thank you. I'll just add that after last night, it was very exciting to see and hear the plans as far as dreams that some have for the city and the future of Belton, and to see the diverse group that is a part of the steering committee, and all the way from sophomore in high school on up to, I think Mayor's dad's probably been here about the longest. But you know,
Careful.
a lot of experience as well as a lot of youth coming in as well. So getting from both spectrums, and very excited about the.
To add to that, I got from Matt a list of people that they wanted, you know, like a banker, a real estate agent, so forth. And my dad is serving as an old citizen. So he's been here since 1951, and his family is on his mom's side have been here since the late 1800s.
So, and then, like, I was sitting next to a girl that's going to be a sophomore at the high school this year.
Yeah, that
So,
was a high school student, and then
You know, so we're hearing from both spectrums, and that's exciting as we look at the future of and start to dream a little bit about what Belton's going to be in the future. So, a lot more to come on that, and definitely watch for announcements and the website and some of those things, because we'll keep everybody up to date on what's happening.
For the record, I would call Mr. Larkey an experienced citizen.
I was not going to go there with the, you know, I was just trying to use the extremes, but I wasn't.
I had that authority to say that.
So, believe that is it. Again, our next meeting, August 15th. So is there a motion?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Anybody opposed? Can stay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.